D&Dtube, Mystic Art, Ginny D, they are all wrong about Draw Steal. They're showing the weakest part of the system, taking out what makes it work, and then porting it to an entirely different game. Today, I'm going to show you what they've been missing and why you shouldn't bother trying to make negotiations work in Dungeons & Dragons. Hi, I'm Frederica. I've been running TTRPGs for 10 years, and I've been running Draw Steal for the last one. It's my mission to turn you from a dungeon master into a director. I am now going to read a legal message from Frederica Tether Incorporated.
This is not a drama video. Please leave now, drama people. Go, be gone. Anyone who does anything like sending hate messages to anyone is not welcome in my video. Do not use this video as a reason to be a wangrod. Thank you for listening.
I've been playing Draw Steal a lot. I am what you call a Steel tuber, I guess. I am heavily biased towards Draw Steal, mostly because it fixes all of the things I don't like about D&D 5th edition, and only adds 3 new things that I don't like. Those are montage tests. I don't really love how easy they are for players, unless you're really mean as the DM. You just have to be unnecessarily mean, and I'm not a big fan. I don't love the combat encounter design in a lot of early adventures. I've played through Fall of Blackbottom. I've played in a couple of other things. I'm running the D&Dtubers, and I don't think they're great. They were all new to it too, but there's a lot of room for improvement there. And finally, I don't love the negotiation system. I think that it's pretty bland. It's quite oatmeal-y compared to the rest of the system, and it's very basic. It doesn't feel very in-depth, and it is way, way, way too easy. So when I see D&Dtuber's best and brightest making Draw Steal videos, I mostly assumed that they were going to be talking maybe about the combat, maybe about the dice, maybe about, I don't know, the art, the layout, right? But no, they all fixate.
Those times when you and your party have just spent 60 minutes verbally sparring with an important NPC, and then your DM hits you with the roll persuasion. Maybe if you're lucky, they're impressed enough to give you advantage. An hour of roleplay decided by 2 seconds of random number generator. No matter if I succeed or fail, the roleplay didn't really matter, only the dice roll did.
All desperate to negotiate for aid in the coming battle against the goblins living in the forest. But the king is not eager to conscript his own people to die in some woodland war that may never reach his lands anyway. So the king refuses this request. Or maybe a good persuasion roll convinces the king. One good roll and the king is now going to conscript thousands of people to go to war? Why had nobody tried that before?
Why are negotiations the thing in these 2 very big books that they fixate on? For the uninitiated, negotiation works as follows. I, the DM, create an NPC. Let's use this person from my Castle San Sabino adventure. This is Amia Gomez. She worked as a cook for the old Duke before he got possessed by an Olafek, and too long for this video. When the party is sneaking around the castle, if they bump into Amir in the kitchen, she can be of use to them. She can create a diversion to allow them to get upstairs to the Duke, but she doesn't want to do that for a couple of reasons. Number 1, she's not a hero. She is not here to do heroic things. She's a real person just trying to get by in a castle which is now sort of run by an Olafek. But she starts pretty suspicious of them. She's not quite calling out to the guards immediately when they bump into her, but she's pretty close. In a negotiation, the party can make rolls to try and convince her to do what they want. Pretty standard, right? In roleplay, all the good stuff. They may say something like, if we can save the Duke, we can get your job back to normal. She would approve of this. She wants her job to go back to normal. That won't piss her off. But if they said something like, don't you want to know what's going on in this weird castle with an Olafek in it? She might respond something like, no, I have kids at home. What are you talking about? This means, and this is a big deal for a lot of parties, they have to think about what she wants, what she thinks about in her head. They have to see her as a 3-dimensional person. Now, this is the case, but because of the way negotiation rules work, typically most of them are decided by like 1 key roll. It doesn't change the I roll for persuasion, it just makes that into, can I appeal to her motivation of justice? This means that the D&Dtubers must be slightly wrong in the fact that they think it's about fixing the I roll to persuade, because it doesn't, it just moves the problem along a bit. And so my first assumption was, oh, are they really into the like motivations and pitfalls system? That is a very cool system. But no, Ginny D points out in her video that the 2014 version of the Player's Handbook has these kind of systems in it. That's already there. I've played at tables with GMs who use these rules. They're very passable, they work. So is it what Mystic Arts points out? That most heroes have some ability that allows them to interact with negotiations? But that can't be the case. In the standard way we run conversations in D&D, spells exist, charm person does exist. It might be very immoral, but it does exist. This is why I say they're wrong about Draw Steal. They're missing something that's hidden in plain sight. It changes the choices the players make, it changes the designer's design. The designer's design. Your enjoyment of negotiations is going to go up with this system, because while you're still rolling dice, your character is not going to be flip-flopping all the time. Most of the time, they're going to get a 12. In D&D, your character has an equal chance every time you roll a dice of being the reincarnation of Shakespeare, the village idiot, or just like me, right? Kind of anything. And it changes every roll, and it is going to constantly flip-flop. And there is an equal chance of any of those things happening. No wonder the roll for persuasion is so obvious to the players. If a player wants to achieve something, they can always achieve it by rolling a dice, and they have a 1 in 20 chance of getting the I succeed roll, just as much as they have the chance of getting the I fail roll. In Draw Steal, you could roll a 3, but you're almost certainly going to roll a 10 most of the time. This means stuff like the bonus you get from having the same culture as someone, the edge you get from being famous to that person. They stack, they become more valuable more of the time. That means the bonuses you get from different places, the edge you get from having the same culture, an edge you might get from being famous, the +2 you get if you have a skill, the +1 from your presence. Each of those things gets exponentially better. If you take negotiations and put them with a D20, you're not fixing the I roll blank problem. You're just moving it on a step. You're just changing it from I roll persuasion to I roll to appeal to their benevolence. The negotiation system, while very cool, doesn't fix that core issue of D&D. It doesn't really even fix it in Draw Steal. If you really want a system to actually complexly roleplay stuff, you need a system like Slug Blaster or Monster Hearts. But even compared to the others, Draw Steal is still better than D&D because we don't use... I need my dice. We don't use these lovely, tasty balls of chaos. We use these 2d10, and we add them together. And that seems like a simple thing until you think about the maths of it. The reason crunchy rules are fun in Draw Steal is because these guys make a bell curve. When you get a +1 bonus in D&D, the next +1 bonus is the same as the first +1 bonus. They're each worth a 5% increase. But each +1 you get with 2d10 becomes exponentially better. Every bonus you can stack on one after the other gets better and better and better. This is what I was getting at before. Negotiations are cool, but they're sitting on the base of a different system. And when you take them out of that system, when you start rolling with D20s, that doesn't matter anymore, because all that matters with this system is how well you roll. A +1 is only a 5% chance of an increase. Advantage is kind of too good. It jumps straight from, oh, we have a kind of randomized chance of beating this, to, oh, now we automatically win. D&D also doesn't have the concept of tiered results. You either pass or you fail. That loses some of the nuance from it as well, right? And you can take those systems and you can apply them to D&D and you can do all of that, but it's not the same. It's so fundamentally different. The whole game is built differently from the ground up. Negotiations are cool, but they're the most oatmeal part of the game. They're the least unique, they're the least special. If you've enjoyed this video and you want to know more about Draw Steal and why it's cool, check out this video I made where I talk about my first year and all 100 sessions of running Draw Steal. And if you're not sure what to watch next, YouTube's recommending something to you on the right.